This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, and tonight from Minnesota, the series shifts. It's game number 3. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Minnesota Twins. The Cardinals have won 5 in a row. They've taken 2 straight over Minnesota. It was back-to-back home runs in Game 1. First time that's happened in 2015. Reynolds and Molina. Then in game number 2, excellent start from Michael Wacha. Kevin Segras picked up the save, and the Cardinals have won 2 straight against the Twins. With the Matt Ungary and Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is also here. We've seen great pitching from the Cardinals this year. We'll see if it carries over tonight with 23-year-old Carlos Martinez.
Well, if Carlos continues his great pitching streak, it'll be fine tonight. As you see, his last 5 starts, he's been outstanding, 4-0. But look at that ERA, 0.80, and he's going deep into contest.
So it's Carlos Martinez getting the call tonight. Hard-throwing right-hander for St. Louis. We're at Target Field. Let's hope the rain stays away. It's actually a chilly night here in Minnesota. You wouldn't believe it. It's the Cards and Twins coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Last 5 starts, ERA is just over 2. How about Mark Reynolds filling in for the injured Matt Adams? Last 8 games, .321 average, 4 extra base hits. Randall Grichuk filling in for Matt Holliday. Last 5 games, 6 RBIs. And Kevin Segrist filling in for Trevor Rosenthal, who's been on the mend. That may change, though, on this road trip. Segrist has been your closer. That quartet making an impact for the St. Louis Cardinals. We're in Minnesota and Target Field. Cardinals baseball is coming up. Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. Rain has stayed away so far. We're in Minnesota at Target Field. Home to the Minnesota Twins. They are struggling, but still only 3.5 games back of Kansas City. In the American League Central Division, the Cardinals, they have won 5 straight. Best record in baseball. And Colton Wong leads the lineup off here tonight. And the first pitch is taken for a ball, and we're underway.
Well, the Twins just had a tough road trip, and they had a tough homestand before that. They were 1-5.
This is Tommy Malone on the mound, a 28-year-old from California. He's pitched with Washington, Oakland, second year now in Minnesota, and the Cardinals saw him in interleague play back in 2013 with the A's as he picked up a win. In 6 innings, gave up 5 runs as Wong pops that foul and out of play.
Gave up 3 solo home runs in that ball game, 1 to Beltran, 1 to Carpenter. Hit him in the 3rd inning, and help me.
That pitch inside. Two balls and 2 strikes on Colton Wong, who's 1 for 8 thus far in this series. Breaking ball, and that's hammered foul. The home run's an issue here for Tommy Malone. He has given up 8. That's 3rd most on this Twins staff, but he's done that in half of their starts.
And home runs has been an issue with him throughout his career. But this is a very, very big ballpark, so home runs should not be an issue here and yet it has been for Malone.
411 into left center, 403 right center, 365 in the alley of right, and Wong puts it in play. Taken there by Trevor Plouffe, and there's one away. A look at the Twins defensively. They have not committed an error in 5 straight games, tied for their longest streak of the season. As a matter of fact, they have turned 9 double plays in the last 4 games. Rosario, Buxton, and Hunter in the outfield. Plouffe, Nunez, Dozier, and Maurer on the infield. Chris Herman is behind the plate. Brings in Matt Carpenter, who is 2 for 6 in the series. And he has a home run against this lefty, as Al mentioned. You watch Malone, he's not a hard thrower. May remind you of maybe a Mark Burley, a Jamie Moyer type. He'll top out around 87, 88. Good changeup, and when he's right, ground ball after ground ball.
Gardner had a couple hits yesterday, so let's just say he's pronounced himself well, and hopefully he'll start taking off from here. See the pitch arsenal brought to you by Hyundai.
And the 1-1. Those 2 hits gave Carpenter his 25th multi-hit game of the season. That's second best in the National League, behind D. Gordon of the Marlins. 69 degrees our temperature here in Minnesota.
Biggest thing with the forecast with a lot of rain today, it didn't materialize, and we're clear for this game, and tomorrow should be sunny. Still a little cool, but no rain is a threat, and that's nice to say.
Early start time tomorrow. First pitch will be at 12:10. We're on the air at 11:30. Carpenter pops it foul and out of play. Cardinals on the road. They are 17-14. They, along with San Francisco and the Atlanta Braves, winning records in the National League on the road. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Carpenter. Misses inside.
Joe West, same crew we had in St. Louis for the first 2 games of this home series.
And a 2-2 pitch to Carpenter. The Cardinals' last trip to Minnesota in the regular season was in July of 2000. That was at the Metrodome. And the Cardinals' only trip to Target Field was 2 exhibition games back in 2010 when they opened up this beautiful ballpark. There's Carpenter, skies one into left. On the 3-2 delivery, there's Eddie Rosario, and he puts it away for out number 2. We take a look at Al Raboski's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, this is a big ballpark, and if you're pitching, you should never walk anybody. If you get behind the count, just challenge them up and away and make it hit at the opposite field. Big right field. And also, the Cardinals need to continue the swagger. I was talking with Paul Molitor, the manager, Hall of Famer manager for the Twins, and he was noting that the attitude of the Cardinals, they just walk on the field knowing and thinking they're going to win. And he's trying to get his team to think that way too.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Johnny Peralta. He's 8th in the National League in hitting, and he grounds it to third. Trevor Plouffe is there. Pair of ground ball outs. The Cardinals are through in the top of the first. It's Carlos Martinez to the mound when we come back. The bottom of the first here on Fox Sports Midwest. It'll be Dozier, Bauer, and Plouffe as the Twins are trying to figure out any combination to get their offense going. It has been poor. Torrey Hunter will bat cleanup, then Rosario, Nunez, Vargas, Herman, and Byron Buxton making his home debut in the big leagues. Carlos Martinez, 79 strikeouts in 12 starts, and the ERA is now under 3.
Oh, he's just pitching well. If you just look at what he's done recently, we talked about his last 5 starts. It's a 0.80 ERA. Remember, he had a lengthy scoreless streak going.
Here's Brian Dozier, and he looks at a strike. Dozier's really been a good leadoff man for Minnesota. Leads their club in home runs with 13, but he's had scored at least 1 run in 38 games this year. As a matter of fact, he leads the American League in runs scored with 52.
A lot of extra base hits for him.
37. That's tops in the American League. And a ground ball that's hit to short, taken there by Pete Kozma. Kozma at short. Your designated hitter tonight is Johnny Peralta. Cardinals defense presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers with Grichuk in left, Borges in center, Hayward with 4 outfield assists in right. Carpenter at third, Kozma at short, Colton Wong with 9 errors at second base, Mark Reynolds at first, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate.
Mike Matheny, with the absence of Holiday and Adams, really tough to find a middle of the order day off for Peralta. So DH makes a lot of sense.
It's been an interesting year for Joe Mauer, former batting champ in the American League. A .317 career hitter. As he slaps that the other way. With runners in scoring position, he's one of the top hitters in the game. .417. When the bases are empty, he's hitting .173.
Yeah, the days of his power, when he won an MVP, he had 28 home runs. Because of injuries, he's not going to have that power.
Lines it out to left field. That ball will get into the gap and roll to the wall as Joe Mauer has a 1-out double.
And that's what he is right now. He's a singles and doubles hitter to the opposite field. There's a lot of injuries and everything, but still very productive. Where this pitch is, up out over the plate. I think Molina wanted that ball more inside. Particularly the left-handed hitters like Mauer, you just let them hit the ball. They got to hit it into the stands, and it's a big ballpark. That's why you have to have speedy outfielders when you're playing here.
Here's third baseman Trevor Plouffe, 2 for 7 in the series. Both hits have been doubles, and he has an RBI. And he looks at a strike. He has 9 home runs this year, with 8 of the 9 coming at this ballpark, which, as we've talked about, is big, it's spacious. And an 0-1 pitch from Martinez. Lined and caught. It'll be a double play. Wong will step on the bag. Double play thanks to Colton Wong, and that saves a run. tonight's game. We're participating in the Home Run Challenge, and you can help out as well. Donate, homerunchallenge.org. Every home run hit tonight raises $12,500. Mark Reynolds was destroying the baseball today here at this ballpark, and I know we talked about how big and spacious it is. It didn't matter. He was putting it in the upper deck in BP. It was the best BP I've seen him have all year. It was unbelievable.
Well, you know, he talks about he gets his home runs in bunches. He hit 2 in the last 3 games, and then yesterday he had 2 RBIs for his 5th game-winning RBI.
And that came with 2 outs, and it broke a 1-1 tie, and the Cardinals eventually held on 3-2.
He won 3 straight games by that score, 3-2.
Here's a 3-0. St. Louis winners of 5 straight for the 4th time already this year. That's the most at this point in a season for the Cardinals since 1900. Reynolds with a high fly ball into deep right center field. Buxton back, he'll look up, and it's off the top of the wall. Reynolds trots into second base. That wall is 23 feet high in right center, and that's gone in most ballparks.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. As pitchers didn't get the result that I thought it would, but if you fall behind the count, just throw the ball up and away to a right-handed hitter and let him just whack it away at that scoreboard. Well, Reynolds almost got it over the scoreboard. He was in his home run trot. About halfway up.
I know you were talking with Mike Matheny at the time, and I'm telling you, Al, it was like watching Mark McGwire again in BP. It was unbelievable today with Mark Reynolds. Here's Randall Grichuk. Go ahead.
I was talking to Molitor today, and we were talking about some of the young hitters, you know, Buxton for himself, and mentioned Grichuk, and he said, yeah, he got my notice in spring training that Paul Molitor likes Grichuk.
And that's hit sharply into left, base hit. Rosario with 3 outfield assists gets it back in quickly. And Grichuk a single to left. Runners at the corners, and a chance now with nobody out for Yadier Molina.
Tough read for Reynolds at second base. You know, with the ball hit in front of him like this, he doesn't know if the shortstop's going to get it. The only play we'd have would be to third base. So it goes into the outfield, and he cannot come home. But the Cardinals, with nobody out, runners at the corners, and they're a good ball club when they score first. That's part of that swagger we're talking about. But they're 29-5 when they break out on top first.
Yadier Molina with his first home run of the season. This past homestand, he's 4 for 7 in the series and knocks that out of play.
That's 3 games. He's 6 for 11 with that home run.
Outfield, in particular, Buxton, fairly shallow for Molina, the center fielder.
Here's the gap in right center.
You might be doing Molina a favor there. He's trying to go that way, and he's so good at hitting it the other way.
You don't always have to get a base hit to get an RBI. So anything to the right side probably will produce an RBI, but they have a huge hole in the right center. And even Dozier, the second baseman, playing close to the bag with Mauer holding the runner on at first. A lot of hitting room to that right side.
Oh, 2 pitch. And he got him. A strikeout and first of the evening for Tommy Milone.
Milone went to USC, and when he got to the big leagues became the 100th player, the most from any college. University of Southern California.
There's Jason Hayward with 1 out. Hayward has raised his average 43 points since May 3rd. It's up to 254. That gives you an idea of how rough a start he had.
And he's hitting .320 against left-handed pitching.
Really surprising. That's a team high considering going into spring training we talked so much about how he struggles against left-handed pitching.
Exactly. He was well under 200 a year ago.
Here's a first pitch to Hayward. Take it for a strike.
And he was also talking how it seems like he's getting a little more relaxed, feeling more and more comfortable. Probably has been told 1,000 times, change this, do that, do this. And he's trying to accommodate everybody coming to a new club.
0-1 pitch is lined into center field, and a 1-0 lead for the Cardinals on an RBI base hit for Jason Hayward. RBI number 19 to drive in Mark Reynolds.
Brian Jordan was telling Ricky Horton during the fantasy camp that Brian, broadcaster with the Atlanta Braves, seen Hayward so much and said he's always been a slow starter, and we're starting to see much better at bats. Even his defense starting to relax a little bit out there, get to know the nuances of Busch Stadium. So hopefully we'll see a lot more to come.
Here's Peter Borges, 8th place hitter. The DH in play. Pete Cosma starts tonight. He's on deck. He'll bat 9th, the shortstop for St. Louis. Runners at first and second. Borges has hit a home run in this ballpark. As a matter of fact, a inside the park homer. While with the Angels, hit it right off the 377 sign in left center. Ball got away from Denard Span, who's now with Washington, and it turned out to be an inside the park home run. As time is called, no balls and 1 strike.
Now, there's no doubt he has the speed to do one, but Mike Matheny keeps on saying he's getting closer and closer, becoming the player that I think we thought he was going to come when he came over from the Angels.
Mentioned that Joe West is behind the plate. You may have seen some of the footage of Torrey Hunter when he was ejected and tore off his jersey, threw the batting gloves. It was the final out of a game on a check swing. And that was Joe West who was behind the plate that night. And Torrey Hunter is coming up to lead things off for the Twins in the bottom of the second. But in this particular situation, it's runners at first and second for the Cardinals, trying to add to their 1-0 lead.
You are referencing that umpires would remember something like that, are you?
Hey, you played the game. I think you know they have fairly long memories.
I say with a smile.
You know. Hey, they're human. It's a carryover effect of certain things, but you would hope that they're professional and turn the page and move on.
And that's what I would expect.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Borges. And a ground ball that's hit to third and a foul ball. Joe West behind the plate. He's the crew chief. Paul Nard is at first. Ed Hickox at second. Mike Estabrook is at third. Well, you mentioned the swagger of the Cardinals, where the Twins may not have that yet. The Cardinals are red hot. The Twins are 4-11 since June 1st.
Danny, they had a great, kind of slow start to the season, and then they closed out April in pretty good fashion. Had a tremendous May, but they said that they were not playing the elite teams. In June, they start playing the elite teams, and they're losing.
Full count.
But this was a club. The Twins were predicted to be about 15th in the American League. So they are playing over their heads right now.
Be interesting to see what Mike Matheny wants to do here. Does he want to be aggressive with runners at first and second? Good speed. Hayward, Grichuk, 3-2 the count. Will Borges put it in play?
Well, he strikes out a lot, but you get a lot of ground balls too. So it will be interesting.
Ooh, it looked
he
like
was going.
Grichuk may have been going. Is right.
One thing, you have to make sure the pitcher delivers the pitch. Can't leave too soon. I like being aggressive.
A 3-2 pitch to Borges. Runners go, and it's a strike. So a called third strike on Borges. The catcher, Herman, thought there was 3 outs. He was headed to the dugout.
I'm not sure he would have had a play, and that's another reason why you send the runners, and normally you're watching it get thrown out, but there you see the young catcher takes off and it's only 2 outs.
So here is Pete Kozma, who is 0 for his last 16 and hitting 102. This will be his 10th start of the year tonight.
And he has a career .293 average with runner in scoring position. Let's hope that holds true.
Stolen base for Hayward, his team leading 7th. Grichuk his 2nd. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Pete Kozma. As Malone glares back into Joe West. He thought that was a strike. Tommy Malone, originally selected in the 10th round of the 2008 draft by the Washington Nationals, acquired last year by Minnesota from Oakland for Sam Fuld. The 1-1 pitch on its way.
That was at the trade deadline. He actually was pitching very well and got sent down as they needed to create opening space when they made like the Lester deal.
A good chance here for Kozma. 2 balls, 1 strike with 2 runners on. Two and 2. On the inside corner, strikeout of Kozma, and the Cardinals strand 2. He's been in this game a long time, and so is Joe West. Earlier this year, Hunter ejected from the game, and then this hits fun. Batting gloves, the jersey, everything comes off, and then a 2-game suspension for Torrey Hunter. First time that Joe West has been behind the plate since then, as Hunter flies out to deep center. And the catch is made up against the wall by Borges.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. You're a pitcher. Make him hit it to center field. Make him hit it to right center, and they should stay in the ballpark. Torrey's kind of a mentor now in his second tour with the Twins, and he's a good example for them. Other than that little tirade.
I was going to say, right on cue. Paul Molitor also was tossed. Here's Eddie Rosario, who's hitting .269. Fourth among rookies in the American League in average, sixth in RBIs. Fourth round pick in 2010 by Minnesota. And a ground ball that's hit to second base, taken by Colton Wong. And there's 2 outs. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Carlos Martinez.
Well, he's got good stuff. It doesn't matter if he's throwing that 4-seam fastball, get up there, high octane. The sinker is outstanding, but the slider and the changeup are really good pitches for such a young pitcher who's just really coming into his own and feeling his oats. 7-2, but the team is 10-2 in his starts.
It's taken him 3 pitches to get 2 outs. And the Cardinals want to see that time and again. The strikeouts are nice. And if he needs to go to 97, 98 miles an hour, he's available to do that. And willing to do that if need be. But the Cardinals want to see efficiency. They want to see him go deeper into games, 6-7 innings.
And that's why I didn't think he could make the conversion to a starter, because he's a high octane, energy. Through so many pitches, long counts. I didn't think he could, go much past 5 innings. But he's proven me wrong with some of these efficient games that he's had, and he's done a really good job of controlling his emotions.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. There's the changeup, which has been a really good pitch, especially against left-handed batters.
His last start, remember, he was the only one to win in Colorado, and that changeup is such a good pitch there because your breaking ball doesn't move as much.
Garrett Cole leads the National League in wins with 10. Michael Wacha with his win yesterday now at 9, tied with Bartolo Colon. There are 7 with 7 wins this year in the National League. DeGrom, Bumgarner, Harvey, Lincecum, Scherzer, and Shields, and Carlos Martinez. Pretty good list.
Well, think about when you put Wacha and Martinez together. Here's 2 23-year-old pitchers where they combine 17-4, and the team is 21-4 when they start.
Eduardo Nunez, acquired by the Twins from the Yankees at the beginning of last year. 1 for 5 with a double in this series. Overall, hitting .302 with 1 home run and 5 RBIs. Michael Wacha pitching through a couple of rain delays. There's Tyler Lyons on the right. His next start will be against Cole Hamels of the Phillies.
See, both these pitchers are right around the plate. When they miss, they're not much out of the strike zone.
Three-two pitch. Hit down the left field line and fair. Nunez on his way to second base with a 2-out double. The young guns, and again, the key stat that Al talked about already. The Cardinals' record during their starts, 21-4 for Michael Wacha and Carlos Martinez.
They aren't doing bad either with 16-4 on their own ledger. And you got your veterans. Going to get Lance Lynn. He won't be on that disabled list much more.
Ground ball to the right side, taken there by Colton Wong. Twins are 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position thus far. Cardinals lead it after 2 here in Minnesota.
All dealing with an arm issue. He's calling it tightness, and he says it feels like he has a knot in his bicep. He says he's never experienced anything like this before. He says he's been checked by the Cards medical staff and assured there's no serious underlying issue. He says they've told him to rest it. He has. Rosenthal told me the bicep felt much better today. He was looking forward to doing some light throwing to test it. He did some of that on the field before the game. Not sure if he's a go for tonight. All we can tell you is that he felt like he was getting awfully close. Dan, maybe tonight.
Colton Wong leads it off. So, Jim, are the Cardinals overly concerned with this? You know, you're talking about a guy that's been dominating at the back end of games.
Dan, they were just saying rest it. Rosenthal said at first they wanted to make sure he was totally past this thing. Lasted a little bit longer, but today the bicep felt much better. And I did see him doing some light tossing on the field. And the way he expressed it to me, he was optimistic that it was going to feel good when he was throwing. But I haven't checked with him since, but we'll have to see.
All right. Thanks, Jim. 1-2 pitch popped up by Colton Wong, and he is 0 for 2.
And Danny, Kevin Segras has done a nice job filling in the last 2 games, picking up saves for the Redbirds. But, you know, he's appeared in 5 of the last 7 days, not games, days. So you got to be careful with him.
I would think he's off limits tonight.
I would think so.
So then the fans at home are saying, all right, Al, who's your closer if Rosenthal and Segrist are unavailable? Matchups? Or is there somebody that stands out?
I think matchups, but you would be concentrating on, you know, Schote for a certain left-hander. You know, you have Manus that I think they have a lot of confidence in, and Matt Belisle I think is gaining a lot more attention, and I think they have confidence in him, and he's a veteran, so that stands to reason. But I would say from what Jim reported that the next step is if it got into a save situation or maybe the 8th inning, they would get Rosenthal up and say, okay, try it, see how you feel, and then let us know, and then we have enough time to adjust.
0-2 pitch taken down and in by Matt Carpenter. Fly to left on a 3-2 pitch. His first time up. 2 for 7 now in the series. On 1-2. Carpenter pulls it foul.
By the way, Kevin Seagrist, I like his attitude. You know, people have asked him about the difference between the 8th inning and the 9th inning. He goes, there's really not much. You know, it's another inning. I just take the same approach, and that's the healthy way to be.
One-two pitch is hit out to deep center field. Buxton going back. Look at that speed and look at that play. My goodness, can that man fly?
Well, they say he's the fastest man they've ever had in the organization. Everybody's trying to make comparisons. I know Paul Molitor said, you know, he's got the speed of, say, Bo Jackson, Ron LaFleur, or Willie Wilson. But you're just seeing so far in his little time since Sunday, he's been a big leaguer. The number one prospect in all of baseball the last few years is we've seen the speed being the best of his 5 tools.
Here's Johnny Peralta. I spoke with Buxton today. Everything is yes, sir. Very polite young man, wants to listen. Torrey Hunter has taken him under his wing. And I said to him, have you had the chance to look at your first hit? And he said, yes, sir, I have. I said, do you realize you almost ran over Mark Reynolds? He said, I didn't at the time, and then when I looked at it again, I couldn't believe it. I had never done that in the minor leagues. He said, I was just so ahead of myself that the sniper almost got me twice.
Right.
Is the way he described it to the paper and described it to me.
Well, that's what baseball vernacular, sniper, is when you fall down and trip between bases or something. You know, it couldn't be you just running out of your shoes, or it almost seemed like his upper body was beyond and ahead of his legs, and he almost fell down twice, but he can run.
2-2 pitch to Peralta, pulled foul. Torrey Hunter also was telling us that he believes before it's all said and done, Buxton will be a 25 to 30 home run hitter, even at this ballpark. He said he hasn't grown into that body yet. It's more of a basketball or sprinter's body than it is a baseball body. As Peralta reaches for it, puts it in play to short. Nunez across the diamond, and a 1-2-3 inning for Tommy Malone. Outstanding play from Byron Buxton midway through 3. homestand, the Cardinals won all the games against the Royals and against the Twins. That means free tickets for July 1st against the White Sox, July 2nd against the Padres. These tickets will be available online only beginning tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. More details at cardinals.com/win. Again, that's 10 a.m. tomorrow. Clearly, they will go fast.
You don't think the Cardinal players appreciate the great fan support? Well, we've done that promotion the last few years. I could think of free tickets, maybe tickets reduced to about $2 or $3, $4, but always a healthy discount.
Chris Herman, 8th place hitter. Good changeup on that previous pitch. No balls, 2 strikes. Then we'll see Buxton and the top of the lineup, Dozier. Here's the 0-2. This is just the 47th career game behind the plate for Chris Herman, who has played left field, right field, DH, and catcher. And a strikeout. First strikeout for Carlos Martinez. Tomorrow night, Major League Baseball returns to Fox Sports 1. Interleague matchup. Brewers take on the American League Central leading Royals. Coverage begins at 7 on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Home debut for Byron Buxton. At 4 minor league seasons, .296 hitter. And coming into this season, the #1 prospect in baseball.
He was selected the 2nd overall in the 2012 first-year player draft. And they know that, he's bypassed AAA. And he's going to, this major league pitchers are going to work him over a little bit. But they want him to sell some tickets. And the fact, what you said, Dan, that he's such a polite young man that wants to learn and is very receptive and respectful, they're going to work with him.
And the 2-1, this will be a tough play. Carpenter has to hurry, and he is out.
And he will turn a lot of routine plays into base hits. That was not routine at all, but Carpenter knew his speed, got to that ball, and threw as quick as he possibly, and it was a bang play at first base. Very nice play by Carpenter.
You're going to sell tickets, but you're not going to do that at the expense of stunting the growth of Buxton.
Well, I think they think that he's talented enough, and because he plays great defense, because of that speed, he's going to get his fair of hits, and he's not going to retard his growth.
There's Dozier, and that pitch up and in at 96. Grounded out to short, first time up. Last year he was a 20-20 man. 20 home runs, 20 steals. Only 7 have done that in Minnesota Twins history. And again inside, 2 balls, no strikes.
And of course you bring up Buxton, and then everybody's saying, well, what about Miguel Sano? He's a 6'4", 260-pound third baseman that might have to change position. I saw Bernansky today, had a nice little conversation with him.
That's pulled foul, 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, what did Tom have to say?
No, he was so excited, all the different people he saw in St. Louis the last couple days, and just renewing friendships. When he came to St. Louis, played trade with Tommy Herr. I also remember I forgot to talk to him about, he's a big wrestling fan. And remember when Randy Macho Savage was the world champion? He wanted to meet, Savage was going to wrestle in St. Louis. He wanted to come out to the ballpark. And at that time, the Wrestling Federation didn't want him to go out there because they didn't want to see how small he was. And some of the Cardinal players would be bigger. Back up breaking ball that was supposed to go down and away. And close, but a ball.
Randy Savage was a former baseball player.
Yes, he was a Cardinal player. And Lee Thomas had to tell the future world champion of wrestling that he was released. And Lee lived to talk about it.
2 outs, runner at first. Here's Joe Mauer. A double into the left center field gap. First time up. Molina will take his time and visit with Martinez. We see him do this more with Martinez than any other pitcher on the Cardinals staff.
Well, I mean, the young man is learning. He's very, very hyper. He's got a lot of mannerisms that Mike Matheny's not in favor of. He's done a good job of holding that stuff in check, but the more success he has, the more kind of you see him go back and get that flash, which in some ways makes a target of it. So it's reining them in.
.1-0 is hit to the left side, and Carpenter has a force play at second. Over to Colton Wong. Minnesota has stranded 2. Game ballot now at Cardinals.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote up to 35 times at Cardinals.com/vote. Cardinals will be well represented at the Midsummer Classic. Molina, Carpenter, Holiday, and Peralta all have a chance to represent the National League.
Then think of the guys on the pitching staff that are most deserving. You know, Cardinals could have quite a few there too.
Trevor Rosenthal, the Cardinals closer. Michael Wacha, maybe even Carlos Martinez, as Reynolds is retired. And he's 1 for 2 tonight with a double. Randal Grichuk, a single to left and a stolen base, his second of the year, back in the second inning. Malone already up to 58 pitches.
It's one thing Paul Molitor was talking about. You know, home runs are a problem with Malone, but also it just seems like he can't go much more than 5 because he gets that pitch count up so high.
Cardinals will see Mike Pelfrey tomorrow. There's Malone's line so far tonight in terms of balls and strikes. Total of 59 pitches.
Pelfrey has saved them with the loss of Santana. And you know, the Twins lost 6 of their first 7 games, and they really kind of believe that right at the end of the spring training they were hit with the suspension of Santana, 80 games, and he'll be back in 2.5-3 weeks. But they felt like that just kind of deflated them coming out of spring training and got off to a slow start. And they kind of regrouped. But you see the May. They had the great May where the Cardinals have been consistent. But all of a sudden now they've hit June and they're playing the better ball clubs and they're struggling.
Grichuk swing and a miss. Strikeout number 4 for Tommy Milone. 80-game suspension for Irvin Santana. He is eligible to come off the suspension list on the 4th of July. And what's interesting about it is that if Minnesota would get into postseason play, Santana is ineligible. It's a rule that the players went to Major League Baseball and they wanted a stiffer penalty for those that got caught. 80-game suspension, plus you cannot participate in postseason play. So he would be out for the playoffs and potentially the World Series. Slowly hit to the left side off the bat of Molina. Trevor Plouffe flips over to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. Midway through 4, 7 pitches for Tommy Milone. Cardinals on top. Show under the watchful eye of Derek Lilliquist. Jim Hayes, what did he have to say?
You know, we asked Jaime how he felt about pitching so well and being back and being healthy. And the first thing he said, thankful for being able to get back and being part of the Cardinals and to just playing baseball. He says one of the keys to his success so far, and he admits there's a lot of baseball to play, controlling counts. His command has been tremendous, Dan. He hasn't walked a single batter in 4 straight starts, 30 consecutive innings without issuing a walk. Dan, there's no question that Garcia's return helped stabilize that starting rotation when it really needed it.
I would say it's Garcia and the guy on the mound, too, who got off to a little bit of a rocky start, Martinez, but, man, has he been good. And you lose Wainwright, and yet this team keeps on going, which is really one of the great stories in baseball this year.
Yeah, it's a real testament to the players and Mike Matheny, the coaching staff, that next man up theory, that you concentrate on what you have and don't dwell on what you don't have. But I think they take a lot of pride in knowing that they have some of their biggest stars that are on the disabled list, and yet they keep on winning games at a tremendous clip.
Trevor Plouffe at the plate. Count is even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He lined out to Colton Wong at second. With Joe Mauer, the runner, at second base, it turned into a double play. 2-2 pitch. Lined over the glove of Matt Carpenter and off the sidewall. And Trevor Plouffe is in at second base. That's the 3rd double hit by the Twins tonight. All 3 hits have been doubles, his 14th this year.
This one a little more problematic, being a leadoff double. Got a little slider and, kind of sat in the middle of the plate, and he hits it. Good effort there by Carpenter. Just got as high as he possibly could. Just couldn't bring down the ball, but good effort, good hitting.
Kirby Puckett taught Torrey Hunter. Torrey Hunter now teaching Byron Buxton. And Torrey was swinging on the first pitch, his first time up. Fly to deep center field.
Torrey was talking about some of the guys that have helped him out. How about like a Michael Cabrera when he was with Detroit, Pujols, Vladimir Guerrero, guys like that with the Angels, and just passing on that information.
1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
39, turned 40 in July. No longer the Gold Glove type outfielder, but still can be a dangerous hitter. A lot of knowledge there, and a good sounding board for a lot of these young kids.
Runner at second is Trevor Plouffe. 1 ball, 1 strike. Torrey Hunter, as you mentioned, will turn 40 coming up, and he has 3 boys that are playing college football. Darius, Torrey Jr., and his third son they call Money. Well, Torrey is a wide receiver at Notre Dame.
Where's Money? Is he at the bank?
Maybe he will be someday.
Own it.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Pulled foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So little things in this series that Minnesota has not done. At one point they had runner at second with a leadoff double in game 1. They could not advance that runner to third, left him stranded. You look at the play yesterday where Joe Mauer had a potential double play and a ground ball hit to first. That eventually led to what would be the winning run for St. Louis. So little things that they've had a chance to do that they have not done in this series.
Out of that conversation was going on as the Twins coaches were talking about those situations that the Cardinals, how they would put runs on the board with little offense just by being team players, giving yourself up, moving a guy around, then getting a sac fly.
1-2 pitch to Torrey Hunter. Torrey's had a fabulous career that began with Minnesota. Took him to Anaheim, then Detroit, now back with the Twins. He's come full circle. 2-2 hit out of play.
He calls himself a monk. He said if the guys want to know about taxes, investment, money, how to train, how to eat, how to get out of slumps, that's what I'm here for. It was given to me, and I'll give it back to you.
And a foul ball.
Man, I'm not sure I would go as far as just trying to get the guys to have a little fun after victories. Or Hunter is his idea to turn off the lights when they're at home and they win. They come in, they turn off the lights, they fire up a smoke machine and arrange a laser show with all parties invited to dance.
Times have changed a little bit now.
I hope there's clothes on.
A swing and a miss, and strikeout number 2 for Carlos Martinez. The T-Mobile game changer. Carlos Martinez, May 1st through the 9th. The high ERA, and since then he's been pitching as well as anybody in baseball.
He got off to a good start before that May 1st, those 2 starts. But all of a sudden, he started reverting back to some of his bad habits And they kind of let him said, see, now you're going to come listen to us. And he has so far.
"50 pitches, 32 have been strikes. Rosario at the plate, grounded out to second, first time up. And a base hit into right field. Will they run on Hayward? Didn't think so. Couple of hops into Molina. A base hit by Rosario. And Eduardo Nunez will be the hitter. And he doubled his first time up. Another strong throw by Jason Hayward in right. He has 4 outfield assists this year.
But what you like about that, Dan, is Hayward, he didn't know whether they're going to come around third and try and challenge him or not. Just get up there and do everything perfect as if they were going to run, but keep it at a low trajectory to where it could be cut off. He's running hard here. They stop him. You see the throw there, but if they wanted to cut that ball off, if the runner tried to go to second, they could have checked and still thrown him out. So just assume they're going to do it, and you'll never embarrass yourself.
Eduardo Nunez, ground ball, and it is foul. Nunez has grounded into just 1 double play this year. That's Mike Estabrook, the third base umpire tonight.
He's got 5 extra base hits, Nunez, in the last 6 games. Very close, but I thought it was foul.
Oh, 1 pitch. Instead of check on the runner, and now a run will score, and this game is tied as the ball gets by Reynolds, and Rosario winds up at third. And that ball gets away. But backing up, Martinez, Carpenter was trying to deke the runner, casually applied the tag. The ball scooted away. Regardless, it's a 1-1 game.
Threw that ball so hard it kind of handcuffed Reynolds a little bit.
And now the medical team of the Cardinals is coming out to the mound. Derek Lilliquist. And they saw something happen here with Martinez.
He was running all over the place. You would think it might be more of his legs than an arm issue. Looks like he's trying to say he's okay.
Was the throw that bad, or did it surprise Reynolds a little bit on the pickoff?
I think a little bit of both. You know, I think it might have sailed on him a little bit. The runner was coming back to the base. It was a little bit into off the plate, or off the first base bag, but might have handcuffed him a little bit too. He whipped it over there.
So with that, the infield is drawn in. No balls, 1 strike on Nunez.
The error is to Reynolds.
And a fly ball lifted into center. Rosario, the runner at third. Catch made by Borges. Throw to the plate is not in time. 2-1 Minnesota. Nunez with his 6th RBI. Here's Kenny Vargas. Grounded out to second, first time up, and that pitch taken for a strike. He was the Twins minor league position player of the year back in 2014.
Big guy, isn't he?
The way he stands in there and his body reminds me of David Ortiz, and Ortiz was still here in Minnesota last time we were here in regular season play.
Ortiz was there, and also LaTroy Hawkins, who just came back to the roster with Colorado.
Let's hit down the left field line and out of play.
Oh, we're here too.
We're back as well. Inning started with a double by Trevor Plouffe down the left field line. He scores on an errant pickoff play, but the error, as Al mentioned, charged to Reynolds. That'll be his third. And a strikeout of Vargas. 2 in the inning, 3 tonight. Minnesota has the lead. An error on Reynolds on a pickoff play, his third. There's Jason Hayward, and a sac fly RBI by Nunez. His 6th RBI this year. And it's 2-1 Minnesota. Hayward, Borges, Cosma here in the top of 5. Well, the Twins are 20-12 here at home. 3rd best record at home in the American League behind Kansas City and the Baltimore Orioles. But yet struggling here in the month of June. The 2-1 pitch. Hayward, base hit into right. And he's 2 for 2. Baseball is such a funny game. He struggles against left-handed pitching. And here we are just about 3 months into the regular season, and he leads the club in average against lefties. Go figure.
Yeah, came in 320, and it's 2 for 2 today to add to that.
Peter Borges had 19 hits in the month of May. 6 of the 19 went for extra bases, as his playing time is picked up with the injury of Matt Holliday. With the lefty on the mound tonight, John Jay sits. And remember, only 3 on the bench because of the DH. So Jay, Tony Cruz, and Ed Easley are on the bench tonight for the Cardinals. And time is called. Peter Borges came up with runners at first and second and 1 out in the second inning and struck out. Then Cosma struck out looking, and the threat was through. Outside of that inning, it's been 1, 2, 3 innings for Tommy Milone. And a check on Hayward, who picked up a stolen base in the second inning and an RBI. The RBI was his 19th, the steal number 7 this year.
I like it when the bottom of the order can get something going and then you roll it over to the top, and that's when the Cardinals usually put a crooked number up there.
Ground ball hit to short, tough to turn to, and they did. 6-4-3 on the double play. Nunez, a great turn by Dozier, over to Mauer at first base. Want a great deal on Cardinals tickets? Fill up at 66. Phillips 66. 8 gallons or more now until September 24th. You'll receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Here's Cosma. You know, Pete is struggling, but you look back at the first plate appearance he had tonight. 2 runners on, a 2-1 pitch. You think that's when he might want to be aggressive, or, you know, look for somebody to hit, and took it right down the middle. Falls behind here now, 0-2.
I get so tentative, you know, partially understandable, but I think the best way to get out of his little rut is to be aggressive. You know, just taking too many pitches, but I'm sure he always feels like he's sitting there 0-2.
1 ball, 2 strikes. All of a sudden you look up and Tommy Milone is having back-to-back quick innings if he gets Cosma here. Has now walked a man. He has struck out 4. Usually when Martinez is on the mound, Cardinals score runs. He has the 11th best run support in the National League, over 5 a game. And the Cardinals start playing tonight. A team average of 262, which is 4th best in the National League. Out in front again. The changeup at 82 miles an hour.
And you keep on looking at this Cardinal team, 43-21, and you say, how are they doing it? And the one common denominator is excellent starting pitching and very good relief pitching and just enough timely hitting. But they're involved in a lot of close games, just night after night after night. Eric Lilliquist, Blaine Ilsley have done an outstanding job and don't get enough credit.
The 2-2. Blaze Ilsley, the Cardinals bullpen coach. Huge hockey fan. Hate to tell everybody he's a Red Wings fan. Loves the sport, plays it in the off season. Somehow stays sane with all the guys in the bullpen. This ballpark is filled up quite nicely here tonight. Beautiful, gorgeous ballpark.
A lot of Cardinal fans. Notice them walking around downtown today. And Buxton's home debut. Very talented young center fielder.
Jammed and popped up as Cosma slams his bat. Boy, you rarely see any of emotion coming from Pete Cosma. Hitless tonight. We head to the bottom of 5. Against the Mets. You'll receive your black and gold Cardinals cap. Just head to cardinals.com/theme. Here's Chris Herman, who struck out. Fouls that pitch back. 1 ball, 1 strike. We're in the bottom of 5 and a 2-1 Minnesota lead.
It's the 15th game that Herman has caught. He's also played in right field, left field, and designated hitter in his career.
Tapped foul, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Buxton is on deck, and then Brian Dozier. Twins coming off a 5-game road trip with a 1-4 record, now 8-12 all time against the Cardinals coming into play tonight. While the Pirates continue to win, so do the Cardinals. 3-2 pitch. Pirates have won 19 of their last 24. And Pittsburgh tossing another shutout tonight. They lead the White Sox 3-0. Second walk issued by Carlos Martinez, BJC Healthcare difference maker. Cardinals and Pirates, 5 shutouts in the last 6 games of the Pirates. First time they have done that since 1903. That's a look at your BJC Healthcare difference maker.
That makes you think that it's an error on that 0.30 ERA, and it's going to go down if the the way they're pitching again tonight with a 3-0 lead.
Got Charlie Morton back. He has pitched very well. There's a strike to Byron Buxton, who grounded out to third. First time up.
Came back from hip surgery.
A 1 pitch by Martinez. No balls and 2 strikes.
Twins have a couple outfielders on the disabled list, so that's another reason why Buxton was recalled. Come up to the big leagues for his major league debut on Sunday.
And a strikeout of Buxton. A nasty pitch there by Martinez. Strikeout number 4. StubHub. Even at the last minute, you can get concert tickets, football tickets, basketball tickets, and Cardinals tickets, even if the game is sold out. Fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of your St. Louis Cardinals, it's StubHub. 4 strikeouts for Martinez. And it brings in Brian Dozier. Runner was going, and the pitch was popped back and foul. Dozier has grounded out to short and also walked. Popped up into shallow left. Pete Kozma, shortstop, makes the catch. What's on Tap is presented by Budweiser. Reminder, early start tomorrow's will come your way at 11:30 here on Fox Sports Midwest. Jaime Garcia, Mike Pelfrey. Garcia 2-3. Pelfrey is 5-3. And again, What's on Tap presented by Budweiser. So with 2 outs, it brings in Joe Mauer. Mauer has doubled into left center field and also hit into a fielder's choice. Two balls and no strikes.
Mauer 32 now, 12 years playing in the big leagues. A lot of injuries.
Catches the corner, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Knee, back, neck, taking a toll on him, and we talked about doesn't have the power he did earlier in his career, so now it's a lot of singles or doubles to the opposite field.
The 2-1 pitch. Make it 2-2. Justin Morneau dealt with concussions, dealing with them now with the Rockies. Spent a number of tremendous years here with Minnesota, former MVP, and Mauer has also dealt with concussions. Two-two pitch to Joe Mauer. Tapped foul.
See if we're right about this. Remember, Mauer was selected. He's a native right here in the Twin Cities, and he was the number 2 pick overall. Pryor was the number 1, and I think they took Mauer first, and then the Cubs were able to take Pryor number 2. And a lot of people said they didn't want to spend the money, but they took the hometown kid, and it's paid off for him.
2-2. And he got him. That ball tailing away from Mauer. 2 strikeouts in the inning. 5 tonight. Kirby Puckett statue outside Target Field in Minnesota.
Into deep left center for Mitchell, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Game 6, 1991 World Series. Kirby Puckett also had made a tremendous catch in that game. He had taken a couple of pitches. He had singled and tripled in his previous at-bats in Kirby Puckett.
There's Danny Gladden. Long over 2 tonight. Holmes did a nice job in the leadoff spot, getting more and more comfortable with it.
So 2-2 the count on Colton Wong. He's grounded out to third and also popped out to short. Ground ball to first, taken there by Mauer. And Tommy Malone is to the bag. Tommy Malone is settled in, and a look at the Twin City Drought Championships here in Minnesota. The Twins, the Vikings, T-Wolves, and Wild. Here's Matt Carpenter. It's fly to left on a 3-2 pitch. And then it was Buxton with great speed in center field to track down a ball in the third.
What would the score be if that ball would have fallen in?
2-1 the count. Two and two. One thing you have to think about is getting into the Twins bullpen, and if you do, this has been a bullpen that has been very good, especially in the back end. The Twins have not allowed a run in 11 consecutive innings. Popped up. Nunez wants it, calls off Plouffe, and there's 2 down. Glenn Perkins, as a matter of fact, perfect at saves with 22. And the bullpen overall, Al, only 3 blown saves. That's it.
Yeah, it's a situation where a lot of people are saying that, okay, Perkins has been perfect, but there's some weak links down there, but we haven't seen it in the first 2 games of the series. And it backs up with, like you said, they haven't allowed a run in 11 consecutive innings. So.
And Peralta hits a ground ball to short, taken there by Nunez. It's 4 1-2-3 innings for Minnesota's Tommy Malone. He's through 6. Twins on top. St. Louis Union Station Hotel. Choose one of our Cardinals baseball packages and score for your team. Go to HiltonSt. Louis.com or call 314-421-1776. Well, the difference in this game has been an error charged to Mark Reynolds. Tough play on a pickoff back in the 4th. That allowed Trevor Plouffe to score. And a sac fly RBI for Eduardo Nunez. And Al, that's been the difference in this game. If not, it's been another solid performance by Martinez.
Well, it still is. I mean, he's only allowed 4 hits, but he's on the downside. And got to keep on throwing up zeros. But Malone seems to be having a little bit too easy of a time at it.
Trevor Plouffe was the 20th overall pick back in 2004. He was at the time high school shortstop. He was 17 years old. Took him a number of seasons to put it all together, and here he is in the big leagues. You talked about their big prospect earlier. He also is a third baseman. Tough play for Kozma. Nicely done. The stretch by Reynolds, and he's on the bag. You know, so you think about, does Plouffe move? Does the big prospect move? What happens there?
Well, I think they're thinking more in the case of Samuel moving and possibly an outfielder. But you know, I mentioned he's 6'4", 260 pounds, but they think he's athletic enough that he could move to the outfield.
It was not an easy play there for Kozma. He wasn't sure if Carpenter was going to come over and get that in front of him. Here it is again for Pete, who was in between, hops again and makes the play and retires Torrey Hunter. Quickly 2 outs.
And you know, Pete's got to maintain that glove and everything in pregame drills and do all the things like that because very little playing time. But with the DH, it made perfect sense to get Peralta a little bit of rest and give Kozma a chance to get his game back in a groove. Hasn't worked so far as his offense, though.
Eddie Rosario looks at a strike. Rosario came up back in the 4th with a runner at second base, 1 out, single to right. That set up the pickoff play that eventually led to an error and a run. Quick inning here for Martinez. 7 pitches as Reynolds takes it. We're through 6. Twins on top. Seventh inning rolls in, as Al mentioned. Lots of Cardinal fans here in attendance in Minnesota. And a 2-1 Twins lead. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The way this game started, I don't know about you, Al, I'm a little surprised to see that Malone is pitched this well and still in this game.
I totally agree. And it just seemed like he's had a very easy time of it. Just 1 hit since the 2nd inning.
It goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of spring training. What would the Cardinals do against left-handed pitching? They've been okay at times.
I know their average has fallen to 226 coming into this game.
And a 1-1. Reynolds looks at a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You were telling us all about the great BP, and in his first at bat, I was buying it.
I was in.
But ground out to shortstop, and see, this is the time you got to get to Malone.
And Reynolds out in front, strikes out. 5 strikeouts for Tommy Malone. That's 5 in a row. He is set down. Plaza Tire Service replay.
Breaking ball, looked like it bounces on the plate. 5 strikeouts. And Dan, in 34 and 2/3 innings, he only had 21 strikeouts coming in.
Exactly.
So he has been good. Sometimes he walks too many. He hadn't walked a man tonight.
Here's Randall Grichuk.
Grichuk got a base hit. Stole the base back in the 2nd inning when they scored their only run on 3 hits.
Casey Fiend, a right-hander, getting loose in the pen as Grichuk is jammed just a bit. No balls and 2 strikes. Randall has singled to left, stolen a base, and struck out in the 4th. There's a look at Fiend.
He was supposed to be an integral part of that bullpen, and then he was on the disabled list and just coming back.
One and 2 the count. Randall just got a piece to stay alive. So the Cardinals will face Mike Pelfrey tomorrow. Then it's off to Philadelphia. Lone visit to take on the Phillies. They have hit rock bottom. They've lost 8 in a row coming into play tonight. 22 and 44.
Just see if they can't keep that spiral going through the weekend. But old baseball adage that streaks follow streaks. So
Andy McPhail, who was here guiding the Twins late 80s, early 90s, has been rumored to potentially take over there in Philadelphia as Grichuk pops it up. The third baseman once hit Trevor Plouffe. 2 down. .100 pitches and 67 have been strikes.
they have to be thrilled to death with his performance today. Really keeping the Cardinal hitters off balance. Change speeds, not a hard thrower at all.
And in steps Yadier Molina, hitless in 2 plate appearances tonight. I was talking with Bert Blyleven before the game, the Hall of Famer. We both were, and I asked him, what's the change you'd love to see with baseball? And he says, pitch counts drive me crazy. He said, we always show when a guy gets to 100 pitches. I'd rather see 120, and then at that point take an honest look at where the starting pitcher is at.
Well, Bert was obviously, as a Hall of Famer, was excellent, but he had a lot of shutouts.
And that's a base hit into left center field. Molina thinking Toole on his way to second, and it's not even close. 7 innings, 7 very good innings here tonight. And Nunez is 1 for 1 with a double and an RBI. So here we are, bottom of the 7th. Martinez still in the game. Just to finish the story, and Bert Blyleven, who, by the way, was born in Holland, then moved to Canada, grew up in Southern California, said he learned baseball from his dad. And it was very interesting. I said, where did the curveball come from for you? And he had a great curveball, one of the best, I'm sure, Al, maybe you've ever seen.
Well, it was the signature curveball of the 70s.
And he said the way that it developed for him was listening on the radio to Vin Scully. He said Vin Scully described the curveball of Sandy Koufax, who was his favorite player, as 12-6. And then he heard an interview with Vin and Sandy describing how he threw it. And one of the things that Koufax said is that he would not allow any kid until they were 15, maybe, but definitely until 16, throw a curveball. And so he never threw a curveball until that time. And then at that point in time, he said, my arm was strong, my body was developed, did not have the injuries that many kids did have that threw curveballs earlier. And that's how it developed, learning the 12-6.
Oh, absolutely. You know, pulling down a lampshade. Kind of one of those descriptions, but I'm a firm believer in the same thing. You don't throw until you're about 15 years of age. Let all those other kids hurt their arm. You know, you go play outfield, play first base, play a lot of long toss. Let the other guys hurt their arm when they're not fully developed. Dan, I've seen 3 professional baseball players throw a pitch and break their arm. So what do you think kids do when they're not developed?
And Bert Blyleven said he was a catcher until he was 16. And then the coach saw him and the way that he could throw at a live arm and said, well, let's move you to the mound. And then that's when he developed his ability to pitch.
And I think he, if I'm not mistaken, and I played against Bert, we were in the same high school league.
Leadoff walk for Nunez.
Yeah, too many of those for Martinez, but I was considerably older because the 8th grade, remember, it took me 2 terms to get through 8th grade. Truman and Eisenhower's. So, but we had Randy Jones, Bert Blyleven, Steve Busby, and myself. And I told you that Whitey Herzog was running the Mets at that time, and he drafted a guy named Bruce Harkey ahead of all of us, and Bruce had the body. It was just perfect. I mean, he was about 6'4", when everyone's 5'10" to a 5'11", 6 foot, about 220 pounds, and threw little aspirin tablets, but he never got out of Double-A.
So Whitey missed on a couple of guys, maybe.
Well, I wouldn't say he missed, but just the Mets drafted him, and he was running the farm system. But you know, that's the thing about baseball is you can't look and see what the kid's heart, see his guts, see the mental aptitude, see all those different things that make you a player.
That's what made Whitey incredible at building major league teams, was his ability to recognize talent and then put the proper pieces together to make the teams that worked in Kansas City and St. Louis.
You know, every manager will tell you try never to put a player in a position that you don't think they can succeed.
Ground ball towards second, tough to turn 2, out there onto first, safe.
And it just seemed like Whitey, was such a great evaluator that he could do that and still had enough personnel that he'd find somebody that could put the magic formula there to have it succeed for him. But it was fun playing for Whitey. I did that in Kansas City, and I helped him win 1 division, and I got him fired the next year.
Chris Herman, who was 0 for 1 with a walk back in the 5th. He was caught looking in the 3rd, and the walk in inning number 5. Shane Robinson is your pinch runner for Kenny's Vargas, who's now 3 for his last 22 since returning from the minor leagues back on June 8th. So Robinson takes over at first base.
I think he had quite the reception he did in St. Louis.
It was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, and how Yachty helped that special moment for Shane happen, you know, by getting up, walking in front of the plate, and letting the PA announcer and the fans react.
Shane telling me he just had another little one. They've got a couple of girls now, and he's enjoying life here in Minnesota.
Well, it's very, you know, this kid's got a lot on his mind. His daughter, the second one, is 8 months old. Was born with a very bad defect, and actually is in the hospital in Boston.
Robinson was heading towards second, stopped, and he's headed around second base now and stops there. Had to make sure that got through, and it did. July 3rd, relive the excitement of the 1982 season. 25,000 fans ages 16 and older received their very own wearable 1982 World Series Championship replica ring. After the game, it's fireworks presented by Cooper Tires. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
And I guess Shane's daughter's already had like 7 operations, but the big ones are over and hopefully doing well.
Now Buxton is 0 for 2. He's grounded to third and also struck out. Martinez has struck out 5. And a breaking ball for strike 1.
Stirring in the Cardinal bullpen, but they believe Martinez can get out of this jam. He's starting to throw right now.
And an 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Good pitch down and in.
We're tying him up. We're talking about the 5 tools, and speed is the most prevalent one we see, but we saw the running speed, you know, when he's around the bases or tracking down the fly ball off the bat of Carpenter. But power will be the last one to be visible.
AT&T Uverse Rewind, and this was earlier in the game. Matt Carpenter back in the 3rd inning, and Buxton with that tremendous speed taking this hit away. Tip of the cap.
Yeah, he closed the gap there, didn't he?
Great speed. Strikeout number 6 for Martinez.
Oh, you saw a lot of pitches inside, and then now he goes slider away, and it's a good one. Gets him to expand the zone and get himself out.
Brian Dozier is grounded out to short. He's walked and also popped out to short.
He's somebody that's caught my eye. A good ball player.
They love him here in Minnesota. He's put up good numbers from this leadoff spot. We talked about it, but they say he comes ready to play every day. First in runs in the American League, first in doubles, 5th in total bases, first in extra base hits.
Make a mistake and he can burn you.
And the 13 home runs catch your attention from the top spot
right
in this order. And a 1-1 pitch from Martinez to Dozier. Hit out of play. Pitch count at an even 100 now for Carlos Martinez. Cardinals have 7, 8, and 9 in the order coming up. That's one thing you don't really think about in the American League, the double switch or the pinch hitter.
Right. That's where you could give up 10 runs in the first inning and throw a complete game.
Oh, pitch at 96. Dozier slams the bat. And the bases will be loaded for Joe Mauer. This may be
Randy
Choate time, and
yeah,
you would have to think so.
He's called already.
Joe Mauer came in hitting .417 with runners in scoring position. And he'll have the bases loaded The Cardinals trailing by the score of 2-1. Pacific Northwest is our coverage of the 115th U.S. Open Championship. Live from Chambers Bay Golf Course begins at 11. Yeah, you'll see it all over Fox. Bases loaded, and Joe Mauer.
That hit batter may have cost Martinez his victory, an 8th victory. Randy Schote trying to maintain this 2-1 ball game. Inherits the bases loaded situation. Joe Mauer hits lefties. 286 clip, and he's 1 for 6 off of Randy.
These two met yesterday. Mauer flied to center. So it's our Chevy call to the pen. Bases loaded, Joe Mauer. This could be your game right here. 2-1 Minnesota.
Remember Mauer now, most of the time when he gets base hits, they're going to be going to the opposite field. So he'll be looking for that slider away. Fastball in.
Two balls, no strikes.
A lot of times Randy's success is to get ahead and then never throw a strike. But when you don't get ahead and then you have to come into a good hitter.
On 2-0. Mauer hits it out of play. You just don't see him turning on the ball as he once did. And that's not to say he won't do it here, but more times than not, he's hitting it to left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Singles and doubles, they go into the opposite field. And, when he was an MVP and hit 28 home runs, he probably pulled most of those. But the age, the injuries, it's taking a toll on his body.
Two and two.
And I guess when the Twins, as we watch this strike two and a swing and a miss, I guess they got tired of seeing homers. So they built this big ballpark rather than the Homer Dome, nickname for the Metropolitan Dome. Did a nice job, pretty ballpark. A lot of people say, why would you want an outdoor stadium here in Minneapolis? Well, they're enjoying this one.
2-2. Got him. Randy Choate comes back to strike out Joe Mauer. And the Twins strand the bases loaded. Midwest, we go to our studio and a Bomberito Sports Update. So a close one there for the Cubbies as they pick up their 35th win of the year. They're 35-28. And they are currently 7.5 back of St. Louis. Could be 7 before the night is through. Casey Fiend, 17th appearance, ERA of 2.55. And he'll take over and try to finish this off. The Cardinals' best shot may be right here. You got Glenn Perkins with the 22 saves in the ninth. Fiend is Arsenal. Hyundai pitch arsenal, what he presents for the Cardinals here in the 8th inning.
Good setup man. Nice job by Randy Choate. Pressure pitching right there. Comes through in the clutch. Even got behind the count. That came back to get Mauer with the bases loaded. Protecting the 1-run deficit.
There's Jason Hayward. He's had a nice night. 2 for 2.
Bean was reinstated from the disabled list on May 29th. Since his return, 7 1/3 scoreless innings. He had the 3rd most holds in the American League last year, 26.
Pitched in the minor leagues with Detroit and Houston. As Hayward goes the other way. And that'll be out number 1. Matt Belisle is throwing in the Cardinals' pen. Fiend was drafted in the 20th round in 06 by Detroit, called up by the Tigers in 2009. There's a look at Belisle. 2010, he was designated for assignment. Make room for Johnny Damon. Red Sox claimed him off waivers, then selected again by the Blue Jays after he was released. So he's bounced around a little bit and signed back in 2011 with Minnesota and has found a home here.
Talking about Twins of the past, Bernansky and Gaetti and all those guys. I just saw Kent Herbeck. Had a moment to talk with him outside the door.
One of the heroes of that 1987 championship team of the Minnesota Twins. Kent Herbeck, big first baseman. A name we haven't mentioned, Neil Allen, who's the pitching coach here for the Minnesota Twins. Former Cardinal. That's hit out of play by Borges, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and is grounded into a double play. 1991 World Series. 5 games decided by a single run. 4 games decided in the final at bat, with 3 going into extra innings, in one of the great World Series ever in the history of Major League Baseball. The Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins. John Jay has moved to the on-deck circle.
Some long nights, weren't there?
Yes, there was. Flagpole in this ballpark, the original pole from Met Stadium. 5 entrances reflect great players in Twins history. Killebrew, Oliva, Herbeck, Carew, and Puckett. Stadium facade is made of Minnesota limestone. They've done a really nice job here with Target Field.
That's Oliva, Tony Oliva, one of the great hitters. Saw him at the batting cage today.
Two. And that is a fair ball. Borges will have a double. Just past the diving Joe Mauer. And the Cardinals have a runner in scoring position for the first time since the 2nd inning.
Boy, almost an excuse me swing, and great effort by Mauer, but that ball coming off the bat of a right-hander is going to slice away. You see how far Mauer is off the base. Great effort, but boy, that's extra bases with Borges' speed easily.
John Jay, your pinch hitter. Paul Molitor does have 3 lefties in his pen if he wanted to go there. You've got Jay here, and then Wong and Carpenter on deck and in the hole. First pitch taken for a ball.
Towns never faced this pitcher.
Malone went 7 innings, struck out 5, gave up 5 hits, no walks, only 1 run. 1 ball, 1 strike.
John Jay is 3 for 7 as a pinch hitter with an RBI. How about trading places with Peter Borges?
Pitching staff of Minnesota very good in that walks department. Fewest walks per 9 in the American League as Jay yanks that foul. That'll keep you into games.
Oh, absolutely. And they keep the ball in the ballpark. So you don't walk anybody, and if you do give up a home run, it's a solo variety. You're gonna be very competitive. And they have one good thing that a team that's coming back needs, and that is every time they have a lead, they're able to close it out with a great closer. They have Perkins.
On 1-2. Jay, a swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Feen. So Paul Molitor now will go to his bullpen. And this could be the 4-out save.
Yes, it is.
So Perkins will come in to face Colton Wong. The tying run at second base, go-ahead run will be at the plate. Perkins, 22 saves this year. He's been perfect in that department. It's our Chevy call to the pen. Wong is hitless tonight. Can he change it? We'll find out when we come back. Twins. Enter the promo code CARDS. Glenn Perkins, Trevor Rosenthal, Mark Melancon, and Houston Street. Closers with 20 or more saves this year. Perkins with 22 to lead all of Major League Baseball. 22 for 22, and he'll try to get a 4-out save here tonight.
His ERA is 0.81 and 21 in his save opportunities. It's near 5 in 7 non-save situations.
And here's Colton Wong. First pitch taken for a ball high. He's 14-9 in his career as a reliever. 348 strikeouts over 300 appearances, and it goes to 2 balls and no strikes.
He was born in St. Paul, Minnesota. 6 foot, 215. First rounder, 22nd overall back in 2004 draft.
Ooh, good cut by Wong. 2 balls, 1 strike. Crowd tonight, 34,381. 34381. Carpenter on deck, 3-1.
You know, Colton hangs in there pretty tough against left-handers. He's batting .273 against them. Tough pitch right there to take, though.
Wong with a fly ball, left field. That'll stay in the ballpark. Rosario makes the catch. Perkins gets the out. Borges is stranded. Minnesota with the lead. Budweiser, make a plan to make it home. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. At Stone Arch Bridge, built by Jim Hill. Jim Hill. Well, if you know him like I do, you say Jim. It's really James J. Hill, railroad baron. And that's Stone Arch Bridge. And here's Matt Belisle. And a strike, and we're underway in the home half of the 8th. 2-1 Minnesota. Cardinals will have Carpenter, Peralta, Reynolds coming up. Looking ahead to the 9th against Perkins. It's Plouffe, Hunter, Rosario. Here in the bottom of the 8th, Randy Choate keeps this game close. There's our Chevy call to the pen. Choate gets the strikeout of Joe Mauer with the bases loaded to end the 7th. And a strikeout to start the evening for Matt Belisle.
Belisle's need to do the same thing. He's got to keep this a 2-1 ball game, give his team a chance. And right there, pitcher's pitch, right on the block.
And a strike to Torrey Hunter. Hunter tonight is flying to deep center with a man at second. Nobody out in the fourth. He struck out and also grounded out to short. 1-1 pitch, hit out of play.
Cardinal offense needs to do something. They had a great opportunity in the second. Runners at second and third and one out. And a pair of strikeouts looking. If Belisle can't turn them down 1-2-3 and get back on offense.
In the air to center field again. Peter Borges. There's 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Eddie Rosario is 1 for 3. He's grounded out to second, also grounded out to first. Good breaking ball again from Belisle. Velocity has been up a little bit. Tick or two from Belisle. Breaking ball has been sharp.
As the season's gone along, he's gotten better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I already liked the signing when he came over to St. Louis. You can learn how to pitch in Cincinnati and Colorado. You can pitch in big ballparks.
27th appearance for Matt Belisle. He struck out 24 now with the one tonight. Only 11 walks. And the ERA is at 2. Time is called. In the driver's seat, presented by Kia. Cardinals bullpen since June 1st. Microscopic ERA of .29. That pitch was up and hit into right center. Rosario hits it to the wall and thinking 3. A 2-out triple.
Cardinals have a speedy outfield out there, but you can see you could be in trouble in this ballpark if you don't have speed in your outfield. Pitch up, really not the pitch you think a left-handed hitter is going to drive like that, but all the way to the wall, and with his good speed, he gets a triple out of it, but there's 2 outs. Nunez is 1 for 1 against Bilal.
You just wonder if he's saying, look, Nunez has swung the bat well tonight. You've got Shane Robinson on deck. Would you rather deal with him?
Well, I think it's worth mentioning that. And as you said, if you fall behind, you don't have to give in to him.
Look at where Molina is set up here, too.
You can tell a lot of times Molina will set up so far outside that, it almost tells you it's an intentional walk.
There he is, setting up 2 feet outside. They get him to reach. Better hurry. And out! And Paul Molitor, I'm sure, will ask to see whether or not he was safe.
I didn't even think Reynolds had his foot on the bag. But I don't like our chances on this one staying.
Here's your look.
Ooh.
As you mentioned, Al, the right foot not on the base.
Yeah, I was going to say, obscured by the helmet of the first base coach.
Yeah, it's a problem. If you're a first baseman, in years past, you try to sell that call by hopping off the bag like that. It may work in selling it, but now, with replay, it doesn't fly.
Nope. And that's kind of like we talked with the daylight play and everything else. Or to me, like the pickoff plays and stuff that in the neighborhood play at second base with shortstop or second baseman keep their foot on the bag.
Matter of fact, the Cardinals infielders and outfielders, they were coming in and now they're all heading back to their positions. They've already made the decision, and yet the umpires are still sitting here.
It's hard to believe.
It's not that hard to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, all they do is, but of course, we're seeing it on the big board here, and they're waiting for the decision in New York.
Yeah, I mean, well, they've seen every replay too.
Watch trying to sell it. He brings his foot off the base.
I mean, that's clearly he's safe. You could see that with one replay.
Well, we saw it naked live. We saw it.
There's Shane Robinson now. 3-1 Minnesota with 2 outs and a runner at first. But my point is, do you have to look at 3 or 4 different looks at it?
If you see one definitive.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes we'll see a really, really close play and you see it 3 different ways, but that one with his foot completely off the base.
Exactly.
It's done.
So 2 outs and a runner at first. Good speed of Eduardo Nunez extends it to Robinson, who shows bunt. Cardinals pitch out. None doing. Be very tough to get a couple of runs off of Glenn Perkins. He has had 2 save situations this year that have gone beyond the quote-unquote normal save of the 9th inning or 3 outs. It's gone beyond the 3 outs a couple of times. Shane Robinson can't believe that.
Talking about the Shane, with his wife staying in a hotel in Boston where their child has already gone through, 8-month-old child, gone through 7 surgeries. The big one was she was born without the esophagus and the stomach attached. Hopefully doing well. I think sometimes, these ball players don't have a thing on their mind other than playing baseball, but they're human beings like everybody else. Shane loves to swing at high pitches.
Well, it's been a strike a few other times tonight. That's why players get upset. They want consistency with the strike zone.
I remember when Holiday had trouble with Joe West. That game, everything away was called a strike. And then all of a sudden he gave him a pitch 6 inches inside on top of it. And all he said was that hadn't been a strike all night.
2-2. Off the glove of Belisle, and a tag applied by Colton Wong. We head to the ninth. 3-1 Minnesota. Run in scoring position, was able to get out of that mess, and now he'll deal with the middle of the lineup for the Cardinals, and that's Carpenter, Peralta, and Reynolds.
Mentioned the Cardinals came into this action day with a .226 batting average against left-handed pitching. Surprisingly, Carpenter's only .206 against left-handers. Thought he would be higher than that.
Perkins, a hard thrower, and pitch at 95. No balls, 2 strikes. Carpenter is fly to left on a 3-2 pitch. Fly to center. Buxton made a great catch in left center and also popped out to short. He's 0 for 3. The Cardinals with just 6 hits tonight. And there's a leadoff base hit into left center. The tying run will come to the plate. Last time we were here in regular season play was July of 2000. Always interesting to look back at some of the names on both sides and who was in those particular lineups that day. Andy Bennis was your starter, now working at Fox Sports Midwest. Mike Matheny has worked at Fox, and Jim Edmonds currently works at Fox. Fernando Vina worked at Fox. There's your Fox Sports Midwest update.
Where's Mayberry?
There's Peralta. Didn't like the call, backs away. Peralta is grounded to third. Twice he's grounded out to short.
Peralta is 1 for 5 off of Perkins.
Perkins, first round selection, 22nd overall back in 2004. Came up with the Twins in 06. Back in 08, he was a starter. Part of the season, he was a starter in 2009. And now an all-star closer. 1-2 pitch. Peralta out to left, and a sliding attempt that comes up short. And Carpenter will stop at the bag at second. Runners at first and second, and nobody out for the Cardinals. A great effort by Rosario in left field.
Like he had it, may have trapped it when he dove for it, or lost control of it when he hit the ground. But a great effort, like you said, and was able to keep it in front of him, so no further advancement.
Here is Mike Reynolds. Carpenter really in a tough spot here. Had to make sure that ball got down. If not, if he knows it's down, he's at third.
Sometimes you just blindly run and you look like a genius, but that was one of those situations where you're playing it properly, because you don't want to run into that out.
Here's Reynolds. Mark Reynolds has doubled off the wall in right center, grounded to short, and struck out in the seventh.
Reynolds 0 for 3 with 3 punch-outs against Perkins. Reynolds said recently his home runs will come in bunches. He hit one on Saturday. We were rained out on Sunday. Hit one on Monday. And yesterday he had the game-winning double and plated 2. So we got the right man up.
Perkins, a former Minnesota Golden Gopher, 2003 and 04. And he grew up in this area as well. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Reynolds. Another good cut. And the Stillwater Area High School in Oak Park Heights.
The more pitches you see, the more kind of zone in, time it.
Here's an 0-2.
.95, 96 mile an hour fastballs just keep on challenging.
Had him out in front, pops it up. Out of play. Once again, the Twins bullpen is not allowed to run in 11 consecutive innings coming into play tonight. Last 23 games, ERA about 2.5. And Perkins perfect on the season. In trouble now. Good battle there, and Perkins wins it.
Win, lose, you might have a bearing on how many pitches he throws in this performance tonight with a day game. Off speed, good location down the way, had him way out in front. Grichuk with his quick bat, turn on some pitches.
Outfield very deep, essentially conceding the run at second base. Inning started with a base hit by Carpenter to left center. Peralta base hit to left field as Grichuk falls behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Randall tonight is singled, struck out, and popped out. The infield hit by Nunez looms large now. Turned into an RBI. Grichuk strikes out. Back-to-back Ks. It was a 2-1 game, and then Eduardo Nunez with a runner at third picked up an infield hit that was reviewed, overturned, and ruled safe. That scored a run to make it 3-1, and he's our Budweiser player of the game. Here's Yadier Molina. Molina struck out with 2 on, nobody out back in the first inning. He's grounded to third and then singled in the 7th. Tried to extend it to a double, was thrown out.
Molina's 0 for 3 against Perkins. Presents potential time a winning run.
Oh, 2. Perkins came in the 8th with the tying run at that time at second. He got Wong, and now he's 1 strike away from winning the game and striking out the side here in the top of the 9th. Fought off and a foul ball. Molina may have cracked his bat. And he has. He's asking for a new piece of lumber, and he gets it from the bat boy. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs and 2 on here in the top of the 9th inning, game number 3 of this series. A defensive swing, and that's how this game will come to a close as Perkins underhands to Mauer, and Minnesota holds on for a 3-1 win in Game 3 of the series. Although no home runs were hit in this game, the Home Run Challenge continues through Father's Day. Make your pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org.
Cardinals had 2 great opportunities. They had runners at second and third back in the second inning with 1 out, and they got 2 strikeouts looking. Here in the 9th inning, 2 men on, nobody out, couple strikeouts, and that self-defense swing. So get them tomorrow.
3-1 the final. Post-game show with Jimmy Edmonds. Pat Paris comes your way next.